Every few months, another limited edition supercar seems to appear, often with a price tag that trumps previous offerings. Perhaps more surprising than the sheer output of the world's supercar makers is the fact that these exclusive models are snapped up so quickly, sometimes before they're even built. Here are the most expensive cars of 2021. Top 10 at a glance. Bugatti La Voiture Noire, $19 million, 15 million pounds. Rolls-Royce Sweptail, $13 million, 10.2 million pounds. Bugatti Centodieci, $8.9 million, 7 million pounds. Mercedes-Benz Maybach EXELERO, $8 million, 6.3 million pounds. Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, $4.8 million, 3.8 million pounds. Lamborghini Veneno, $4.5 million, 3.5 million pounds. Lamborghini SIAN, $3.6 million, 2.8 million pounds. W Motors LYKAN HYPERSPORT, $3.4 million, 2.7 million pounds. Limited edition Bugatti VEYRON by Mansory Viver, $3.4 million, 2.7 million pounds. Ferrari Pininfarina Sergio, $3 million, 2.4 million pounds. Bugatti La Voiture Noire, $19 million, 15 million pounds. According to Bugatti, their vintage Type 57 SC Atlantic reflects the marque's pioneering spirit, passion for perfection, and the desire to continually redefine its limits. As such, Bugatti drew inspiration from the old Type 57 when creating the La Voiture Noire, or the black car. We reckon it sounds better in French. One of the 4 Atlantics ever built has been missing since World War II, and La Voiture Noire is an homage to that car. At $18.68 million, 15 million pounds, La Voiture Noire has the biggest price tag of any car ever. Only one will ever exist, and more than 2 years after it was sold, it still hasn't left the production line. La Voiture Noire packs a 1,500 horsepower engine that pushes it to speeds of up to 261 miles per hour. We produced a true one-off, a single-unit car that we call automotive haute couture, said Achim Onstedt, Bugatti's design director. It's not just a car anymore, it's really more like a piece of art in line with the highly exclusive fashion and luxury brands in France. The car, which is being built at Bugatti's ancestral home in Molsheim, France, features an 8-liter 16-cylinder engine, develops 1,103 kilowatts, 1,500 PS, and 1,600 newton-meters of torque. It also boasts no fewer than 6 tailpipes, adding to the glamorous, over-the-top nature of this most unique of vehicles. Rolls-Royce Sweptail, $13 million, 10.2 million pounds. The Rolls-Royce Sweptail is another one-off car, and one that also draws inspiration from the finer things in life. Giles Taylor, director of design at Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, described the Sweptail as the automotive equivalent of haute couture, taking in much the same terms as Bugatti. The Sweptail was also inspired by the coach building of the 1920s and 1930s and was commissioned at the request of an aircraft and superyacht specialist who had a special idea. However, the base design for the car was the Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe. Costing $12.8 million, 10.2 million pounds in 2017, the Sweptail took 4 years to build, and at the time it was finished, it was the most expensive car of all time. Just 2 years later, it was supplanted by Bugatti's La Voiture Noire, listed above. However, it is still regarded as the most unique and expensive Rolls-Royce ever built. Bugatti Centodieci, $8.9 million, 7 million pounds. We know what you're thinking. Bugatti doesn't really have an entry-level model, does it? But among the super rich, the Centodieci, 110 in Italian, might represent something of a bargain, relatively speaking. This one is also based on an older model, the 1987 EB110, well loved for its decent 20 miles per gallon and, more genuinely, for the fact that it could travel more than 500 miles on a single tank. The Centodieci successfully reflects the blistering acceleration of the old EB110, only more so, as you might expect. It can manage 0 to 124 miles per hour in just 6.1 seconds, 0.4 seconds faster than the Chiron, on which it is based. Everything about this aggressive-looking vehicle screams, "Look at me!" including the 5 rounded air intakes shaped like a diamond, 8 taillights, quad exhausts, and a very limited production run. Just 10 will ever be produced, with deliveries from the Molsheim factory due to take place in 2021. Mercedes-Benz Maybach EXELERO, $8 million, 6.3 million pounds. This one-off Batman-esque sports car was built by Italian car firm Stolla in collaboration with Daimler Chrysler. It was made to show off the Carrot EXELERO tire range from Goodyear, whose subsidiary Fulda commissioned it. And while all these big names sound impressively complicated, the final design was completed by 4 students from Forchheim University of Applied Sciences in the Black Forest, Germany. The only stipulation was that the car must reach 217 miles per hour in order to test out the tires fully. Despite being unveiled at the Temperdrome in Berlin in 2005, the EXELERO remains one of the world's most costly cars. It features a twin-turbo V12 engine mounted at 60 degrees, which produces 700 PS, 690 horsepower, 515 kilowatts. The interior is suitably plush with dark and red leather, neoprene, shiny black carbon fiber, and aluminum accents. Maybach is now part of the Mercedes-Benz division of Daimler AG, but the marque has had an illustrious history. It manufactured almost all the engines used in German tanks during World War II, including the Panzer I, II, III, IV, and V, and the Tiger I and II. Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, $4.8 million, 3.8 million pounds. When the sunlight hits the carbon fiber of the Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, it sparkles as if millions of diamonds are in the body. Trevita means 3 whites in Swedish. Before the CCXR, car makers only had access to black carbon fiber weave, but Koenigsegg developed a new process to make the material white. Because the process of manufacturing the white body shell was so laborious, Koenigsegg decided that they would only make 2. One supposes they could have built it using black carbon fiber, then painted it in sparkling white paint, but then they wouldn't be able to charge millions of dollars for it. Purportedly, a Trevita was bought by Floyd Mayweather for $4.8 million. Its V8 engine boasts 1,018 horsepower, and it can reach at least 254 miles per hour. It's not clear who purchased the second model. Lamborghini Veneno, $4.5 million, 3.5 million pounds. Based on the Lamborghini Aventador, the Veneno was built to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Lamborghini. It features the Aventador's 6.5-liter V12, producing 740 horsepower, and is a road-going version of Lambo's racing prototype. It can go 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds and has a top speed of 221 miles per hour. The name Veneno comes from a famous fighting bull. Most Lamborghinis are named after deceased bovine warriors, and all of them, including Veneno, had sent a matador to the next life. Only 3 Venenos were ever built, and all were purchased before they were even seen by the buyers. The Veneno is a little too much like a spaceship or a Transformer toy for some, but while it may look like something you'd see repeated across a child's bedroom wallpaper, it is nothing if not eye-catching, a quality that many of the world's super rich appreciate. Lamborghini SIAN, $3.6 million, 2.8 million pounds. A little less crazy bold than the Veneno, the SIAN isn't even named after a killer bovine. Cyan, in fact, comes from the Bolognese word for flash or lightning, a name that was first used on a Lambo in 1963. As such, just 63 of them will be built, and they've all been bagged. A 2020 soft-top version has also been made, and all 19 of those have been sold, too. The Cyan FKP37, to use its full title, was Lamborghini's first ever hybrid vehicle and is all-wheel drive. Its overall design might be considered a little more subtle than the Veneno, but it's undeniably eye-catching, comprising as it does the wedge shape developed by famed automobile designer Marcello Gandini. The leather upholstery was completed by Italian firm Potrano Frau, and the CYAN is the first Lambo to feature 3D printed parts. W Motors LYKAN HYPERSPORT, $3.4 million, £2.7 million. The LYKAN HYPERSPORT is the Middle East's one and only supercar, with a 3.7-liter 750 bhp engine and the ability to move from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds. Its top speed is 242 miles per hour, the least you would expect for $3.4 million. But when the 22-mile-per-hour LaFerrari is a snip at just $1,416,362, why would you splash out for the Hypersport? The answer, say the makers, is luxury. Think gold seat stitching and diamonds in the headlights. If these 440 diamonds, 15 carats, aren't to taste, the buyer can choose from rubies, diamonds, yellow diamonds, and sapphires, depending on the chosen body color. Perhaps understandably, only 7 units were ever built by the United Arab Emirates firm, although one of these was snapped up by the Dubai police force. The company was formed with the assistance of Lebanese and Italian engineers. Limited edition Bugatti Veyron by Mansouri Vevere, $3.4 million, £2.7 million. Mansouri, a luxury car modification firm based in Germany, managed to make the already expensive Bugatti Veyron a little bit more expensive. They took a Grand Sport Vitesse Roadster and, amongst lots of other things, fitted an accumulation spoiler package, new LED lights, and an upgraded cabin. They also fit alloy wheels with 5 double spokes. The base Veyron features an 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16 engine, producing no less than 987 horsepower. If the Vevere edition isn't to your taste, perhaps the newer Vincero edition will be more suitable, which Mansouri calls a limited customization program for the Bugatti Veyron 16.4. Mansouri only works with top models from top brands including Aston Martin, Audi, BMW, Bentley, Bugatti, Ferrari, Maserati, Lamborghini, Lotus Cars, Rolls-Royce, and Tesla. Ferrari Pininfarina Sergio, $3 million, £2.4 million. Sergio Pininfarina, son of founder Battista Pininfarina, was honored with this very special limited edition Ferrari. Sergio was instrumental in ensuring Ferrari survived and thrived after his father's death. The sweeping curves of the Pininfarina are so unorthodox, for a second it looks as if the front is actually the rear. Unveiled at the 2013 Geneva Motor Show, the Pininfarina is a coach-built barchetta, small boat in English, and based on a 458 Spider. Just 6 versions of it were ever made, each one sold to a hand-picked customer, presumably a big Ferrari fan with deep pockets. While the external styling of the vehicle is dramatically different from the donor model, the under-the-bonnet credentials are exactly the same.